Here we are, it's time. This episode marks a big change and a new direction for the series. So, we officially give up with 110 AI. I can't do it, I'll wave the white flag. We're here for the season break and we're back for the second half of the season. Now, if you haven't seen the previous episode, go check it out, the Hungarian Grand Prix, link up in the top right. Go on to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy this episode. And let's jump into it and let's see what is in store for us. So, for this weekend, I'm going to lower the difficulty. For qualifying, we're going to run 105, and for the race, we're going to run 106. Now then, with that said, activities out the way, everything good to go. We're going to jump into a Pirelli Hotlap, and this time we're going to do the average speed zone around Spa. It was in the wet conditions in the Ferrari, which looks absolutely beautiful with the F8 Tributo in yellow. And this challenge gives you 3 attempts, and I already got gold on my second one, but my third attempt was the best of the bunch. So, in this little kind of region, you have to hit a certain average speed, which is what is at the top of the screen. Now, we opened up turn 1, La Source, nice to get a nice exit down the hill to carry loads of speed as we approach Eau Rouge. Try to get the car turned over to the left to open up the right and then carry that speed over the top of Radion as the back end tries to kick out and drift its way as we head into the Camel Straight. And we're going to smash this one out the park as we actually hit 175, so a whole 2 kilometers more on the average speed, and that will see us achieve gold and a maximum score. So yet again achieving an extra 1,000 acclaim points and 100,000 extra dollars in cash. Now then, we're ready for the actual F1 action, and we're going to jump into the updates for this weekend. So first of all, forecast is going to be dry. This weekend, we were meant to have 5 upgrades in the car. We have to settle for 4 as the weight reduction did fail. However, 1 for the aero, 2 for durability, and 1 for the engine. Speaking of which, this is a supplier upgrade from Mercedes, and it's an engine power upgrade. So very happy they've delivered on that just before the power circuits. Also, you can see the upgrades we have on the way after this race. And one last thing worth mentioning after this, as you can see, we're still bottom of the charts, but the whole field spread is starting to get a bit closer in terms of the gap. We DNF'd in the last race, of course, and I decided to retire the car early. And we're going to go ahead and change from Power Unit 1 to a mixture of components, which are basically my freshest ones available to give us maximum power. There is confirmation of 105 difficulty for qualifying, and yeah, we're going to see how that works. Now, the difficulty does come to effect for practice as well. That means the programs are easier now and more achievable. You can see here, currently doing the tyre wear test. We're going to get a green score. I don't know why I didn't get purple. I could have probably slowed down a bit more, to be fair, in the second sector and had a bit less tyre wear. Still though, we got a green score, and we'll take that. You can see lots of areas where I could have improved my tyre performance. And yeah, definitely pushed them a bit too hard in the first half of the lap. Now with that said, we jump into FP2, and I decided to take part in the race strategy program, and you can see here we're at the end of our final lap, and this went pretty damn smoothly as we smash the lap times one by one, and we get the job done, achieving a purple score. After that, we got floor damage, and you can see we're more or less on target in terms of tyre wear. As we then move into the qualifying performance test, we have to navigate a fuelless Lance Stroll as we make our way towards the bus stop chicane, and for the first time in a while we're going to not just beat this, but we're actually going to get a purple, I think for the first time ever actually, and we're going to smash it by 1.2 seconds, 1.3 seconds. So it's great to be able to actually, you know, get points and achieve the practice programs easily without having to sweat it out like it's an absolute qualifying session. So yeah, job done for us, and you can see we passed with flying colours. And after qualifying, we went ahead and reaped the benefits from that. So we take our claim points pretty much just under 1,000. We'll hopefully have a few more to spend at the end of the episode. And then we get all of our discounts applied to multiple upgrades for the aero, the durability, as those are the 2 main regions where discounts are being applied right now. And hopefully we can make some upgrades as well at the end of the video, as I want to try and keep pushing forward as we are starting to turn the corner and improve. So here we are, qualifying 105 AI, a new era. Let's see what is in store for us. Hopefully a decent one, and we can try to improve and start the second half of the season on the right foot. So let's jump into it and let's see what happens.
Okay, I hope you brought something good to read today. There's an issue with the fuel system. We don't think it's anything terminal, but it is going to take some time to investigate and repair, I'm afraid.
Now, it wasn't the best start, having, an issue with the car in qualifying. However, we do eventually make our way onto the track. Now, the issue we had is going to limit us to 2 runs, as we lose Carlos Sainz from qualifying as he retires the car. Not to tell one that this was my best lap, so we have to push on, and the yellow flag gets cleared to a green just in time. So making our way out of turn 1, down the hill as we approach Eau Rouge, and of course Radion. Don't cut the inside curb on the left too much this year. There is a possibility of getting floor damage, as there is a hidden kind of raised curb on the left side of Eau Rouge before you enter. Making our way though along the Camel Straight, got a bit of traffic ahead of us, which isn't ideal. He doesn't get out of the way on the Camel Straight as we lose Nicolas Latifi, as we now catch up to Zhou Guanyu, who is said lap car. Out through Malmedy though, we do eventually get past as he moves to one side. Down the hill into turn 8 Ravage, keeping it nice and tight as we open up turn 9, no name corner, trying to carry that speed all the way throughout the entire section, and now plunging downhill into Pouhon. One downshift, turn the nose in, carry that mid corner speed as we make our way down into this right-left chicane. Brake at the curb, 5th gear, take lots of inside curb there, and also through the next left as well as we short shift to 6th. Maximising every inch of the track as we then head into Stavelot. Again, using all the runoff curb to really make sure we leave no time on the table. And now, take a breath, make our way down the back straight, have a breather, take a bit of a moment to prepare the brake zone for the bus stop. And you want to try and spot the 100 and brake just after that, about 80 to 75 meters I would say, down to 3rd gear, flick it right, flick it left. I went in a little bit too early there, it kind of set me offline, and then get the power down, DRS open as we set a 44.1, and that moves us to P11 ahead of Jack Aitken, behind Max Verstappen and Alex Albon. So, first run in the books. We then went out for a second attempt, and I wanted to go for 3, but the car issues meant that we couldn't get 3 laps in, and unfortunately on our very last attempt we ran wide by the smallest of margins at Pouhon when we were 2.5 tenths up. I then actually made a mistake through this little right left chicane and lost another tenth. Nonetheless, I kept on pushing and we found even more time, and eventually the lap would have been about a 2/10 improvement because we had a pretty scruffy bus stop chicane. Definitely potential to go about half a second quicker, I think, on that lap. So it would have put us just below Sonoda, I think, if we'd hit an absolutely, I'm talking perfect lap. I'm thinking maybe like a high 0.6. Realistically though, probably about like a 0.7. There was definitely another tenth with that mistake in the right left chicane and the bus stop as well. So there is definitely more potential. Aitken's time isn't legit, so don't read into it too much. I don't think he got a clean lap in qualifying. He had issues with traffic, so the real pace hasn't really been shown. And if you're looking at the Williams of Albon as a reference, he's P15 and 9 tenths quicker than us, and Williams are the team directly above us in the vehicle performance chart. So in reality, we're still a long way off, and it wasn't really a fully accurate session, also with Latifi and Sainz retiring. So yeah guys, that's it for qualifying. We're now going to move into the race on 106 AI.
We're in Belgium once again for today's round of the Formula One World Championship. It's a race that the great Ayrton Senna won 6 times, and in 2019, Charles Leclerc became the first driver to take their maiden win here since Michael Schumacher back in 1992. Spa-Francorchamps today, a circuit that spans 4.35 miles. There are tons of elevation changes along the way too. 19 corners making up this circuit, with 9 of those to the right and the remaining 10 to the left. This track's a great one for fans of pure speed, and the average lap speed comes close to a whopping 145 miles per hour. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Russell, Norris, Max Verstappen, and Perez, Fernando Alonso, Mick Schumacher, Magnussen and Sebastian Vettel, Bottas, Albon, Daniel Ricciardo and Gasly, Stroll, Sonoda, Martinez and Jack Aitken. Ocon, they've taken a grid penalty. Joe, Latifi and Carlos Sainz will start from the back of the grid. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race.
Now it's time for the race here at Spa-Francorchamps, and we're starting from P17. Now, we've been benefiting, of course, from a lot of grid penalties, and this race is no different. We're starting higher than we qualified, and we have an opportunity to try and have a decent race. The reason being is because we're only 7 places away from points, and I feel like if we can get a decent start and have a decent first lap, we might have a chance. I think the difficulty is a bit lower. It's still not going to be easy, but it should be more manageable on 106. And I feel like even though qualifying didn't go according to plan, the race pace should be a bit more competitive. Strategy-wise, we're going to go for the simple medium to hard tyre strategy. It works, and we're going to keep it basic. I want to try and focus on the pace this race rather than gamble on strategy so much. And fuel-wise, we're going to go for an extra lap, but it's a power circuit, and fuel is quite high in terms of consumption. So, no rain forecast, a bit overcast, but no rain at any point. Let's get into it, and let's get the formation lap underway. And fingers crossed, this is really a turning point. Right, let's get into it then. Let's get the car lined up on the grid. A little bit of a rear tyre burnout as we try to get some rear tyre temp. Race start is going to be key, even though it's a short run to the first corner. Oh, there we go, that was nice. I corrected that quite nicely. Start is going to be key. Let's try and get a decent one. That's a good start. Stroll's moving all over the place as we go straight up the inside into Lascelles. Excellent start. Partly forced by, Ricciardo and Stroll weaving. Albon, Ricciardo side by side here. We're going to try to keep the door shut on Albon as he tries to sneak in. Up to P12 though. Excellent start from us, gaining 5 places. Not over yet though. Here comes Ricciardo with a slipstream down to Lecom. He's going to try it. We're going to outbrake him though and stay ahead for now. Okay, nicely done. Very good start. Taking full advantage of the grid penalties and the chaos. Now let's see if we can somehow maintain a decent race pace as we make our way through the second sector. Ricciardo getting a bit out of shape behind. I'm going to try and use my ERS the least amount possible here, as that could be a key factor. Yellow flag behind. Ricciardo's gone, and he's taken an Aston Martin with him. Could be a safety car here, and there is. Virtual safety car deployed. Is anyone going to pit? Let's find out. No, everyone stays out. Right, so end of lap 1, up to P12. Excellent start to the race. Aitken pits though for damage.
Okay, Jack's coming in for his stop now.
It'll be interesting to see how that works out for Aitken. It could offset him on strategy. He might have to 2-stop, but he won't lose much.
Okay, VSC ending. We're going green. Maintain positive delta until the green flags.
And there we go, back underway. Great timing on that restart.
Okay, clear.
Can we have a look at Bottas here? Yes, we can. Wasting no time. Caught Bottas napping under that VSC, and we're up to P11. I don't think I've got any pace, but we've just been so good with the race start and the VSCs that we're making it happen. Bottas off the track. He does exactly the same as Ricciardo. Seems like the AI, again, have more issues around here, like other tracks. Oh god, that was a catch. Whew. Good to see that still in the game. That was scary. Right, let's crack on. Under pressure here from Ricciardo, but I've done enough to get myself back within DRS range of Kevin Magnussen. So that's going to help us out in terms of defending position. So very happy about that. We'll be able to stay ahead now of Ricciardo and remain somewhat competitive in this race. I think we're going to run out of battery soon if I keep this up. I'm having to use quite a lot to maintain the pace. As you'd expect, of course. I'm not going to be here the whole race, but the longer we stay here, the better. I mean, Sebastian Vettel's hanging in there as well in the Aston Martin, which isn't a great car. Battling ahead, I just saw some defensive moving in the brake zone, so it's kicking off. That's going to help us stay, in touch. Schumacher and Alonso going at it, which is going to cost everyone time, which means it will keep us together. And that's exactly what we need this race. We need the AI to just battle amongst themselves and have a bit of, elbows out, bit of chaos, bit of action. It'll keep us in check and keep us close. Ricciardo might get the run here. We're going to stay on the racing line though. Ricciardo goes for the outside move again, and my god, that is such a dangerous thing that AI do. But takes the pressure off us, which is good. Alonso pulling away. I think Schumacher has damage. Just looking at the gap that's starting to form. Alonso pulling away here. So let's stay on board as we try to get past the German. It's going to be Sebastian Vettel, the master, trying to get past the apprentice. Meanwhile, we've managed to break a gap to Ricciardo here, a second pretty much. Might even drop him out of DRS range if I keep the battery on. Okay, I think Sebastian Vettel's going to pass Mick Schumacher here, who does seem to have damage. Side by side, the two Germans, Magnussen lurking in the distance. I might even get the run here. Whoa, Magnussen moves across. That was late from Kevin, very late. I was going to the outside. All just one big train now, but that's fine, this suits us. This is what we need, a bit of AI action, a bit of chaos to keep us in check. Let's see if we can stay competitive. Ricciardo looking for a move on the outside there. We're going to defend quite nicely though, keep our car on the racing line. Ricciardo is definitely a lot faster, but our straight line speed is actually pretty decent this weekend. Oh, Magnussen Vettel looking a bit racy here. Yellow flag ahead.
Yellow flag.
Ricciardo going to the outside.
Okay, be aware there's an incident in the next part of the track. No overtaking through the yellow flags.
Like always, yellow flags don't seem to apply to AI. They seem to be able to overtake under yellow flag. As Ricciardo tried to go for the move there, but Russell out the race. We gain a place, and that moves us into the points, and that is what I was hoping for. Some sort of AI retirement to help us move up the order. Running on very low battery now, that was Albon and Ricciardo battle away. Hopefully Albon can get ahead of Ricciardo, that would help take some pressure off from behind. Meanwhile, these three up front still can't seem to get past, well, these two up front can't seem to get past Mick Schumacher. Okay, Albon has pit, I've just realised. So early stop from Alex Albon. He was battling with Ricciardo, so we'll keep an eye on that as a possible undercut attempt. Although I feel like the pace is still strong on these tyres and we're able to maintain that.
Jack is in the pits. Jack is in the pits.
A can pit as well, so that's good for us because that clears the pit box now and we know we can box whenever we need to. So that's really good to know. I'm out of battery as we are trying to stick with these guys. Seb doing a good job of keeping us in play as we're pretty similar pace. So I'm able to just about hang on. Oh my god, Magnussen and Vettel. Careful, 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 careful. I outbroke myself in that bus stop. Luckily we've managed to get past K-Mag.
Approaching the pit window now, and you're going to be on hards next time.
Right, crucial phase of the race then. Let's see if we can use Sebastian Vettel to stay ahead of Magnussen, although I'm struggling for grip. I think my tyre wear is kicking in. Running out of battery as well. So I'm starting to struggle on my tyres, so I need to get those hard tyres on. For now, let's try and stay ahead of Magnussen here and stick with Sebastian Vettel, use him as a slipstream. This is working so far. We don't really have the outright pace, but just staying in DRS and managing my battery is working well for us. We have Lando Norris in the pit lane as AI start to pit. Looks like Magnussen came in as well that lap. Possible damage from the contact with Seb at the bus stop. Either way, we're still hanging in there. Seb is faster, he's pulling away, but thankfully because of DRS, I'm able to hang on. I think we're pitting next lap. Ricciardo pretty close here. Definitely much faster, but our straight line speed for once is competitive, and that's helping. The fresher power unit, of course, being put in the back of the car is going to help as well. Let's see if there's anyone pit stops this lap. No, one more. I'm happy to stay out and just follow Seb, to be honest. We should be in this lap.
Okay, the pit window's open, so let's box this lap. Box this lap.
Lovely. Let's try and survive for one more lap. tyre wear's really starting to hurt me though. That wasn't a good exit. Ricciardo might be close here. Let's see what happens. Come on, Seb, give me the slipstream, mate. Completely out of battery. I'm going to have to just use what I've got left to stay ahead of Ricciardo here. It's closing in. Just able to stay ahead. Crucial. Absolutely critical. And now we're going to box. Let's try and stay ahead here one more time. Use up the battery reserves, although it's not going to be much help for us. Cars here, by the way, losing a load of time. The pack of cars with, I think, Verstappen in P6. Schumacher's up there now as well. Something's happened this lap as they've lost a bunch of time. We're going to box though. And this is officially an undercut attempt now on Sebastian Vettel as he stays out. Excellent pit entry, right on the limit. Tyre wear hitting the 60s on the rears, which is about where you want it. We're going to hold up with Verstappen. And also Alonso as well. That's good for us. We're holding up people and costing them time. Alright, that was a purple. Somehow 0.8. Please be good. Oh no, not again. We don't need this. We don't need that. We've lost out to Ricciardo and Bottas.
Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
Worst possible scenario. Oh, God. No grip. Bottas is able to floor it through a Rouge and Radeon. Let's try and stick with Valtteri if we can. AI are way too strong on our lap. They can just go flat out like it's nothing. Takes me ages to get my tyres up to temp. Look at that, gap to Bottas 2.1 in just the middle sector alone. And I'm absolutely flat out, by the way. I cannot go any quicker than this. What a disaster. This entire sequence has just ruined our race. It might even cost us points now because of it. Let's see what happens. Let's find out. Let's see what the damage really is. We'll find out in a couple of corners' time. But we're certainly not going to undercut Sebastian Vettel, that's for sure. Look at that, 2.4 seconds to Bottas. Horrible. What a disaster. It's going to be close with Seb though. Look at this. We're not going to pass him on purpose.
Okay, Jack's coming in for his stop now.
I'd rather get DRS. Seb will be on cold tyres, so he'll be easy to pass. And I can probably get the job done without any ERS as well. So this could be for a point. Even with the pit stop mistake, we've still managed to undercut Sebastian Vettel. And there we go, back into the points. But look at that, Ricciardo P8, that's where we should have been. That is a bit annoying. Oh, yellow flag. There's a yellow there, I think it's behind.
Okay, clear.
I think it's Magnussen. Yeah, he's got going though, so it must have been like an incident or something. Yellow flag in the second sector. This is the end of Aitken's race, I think. He's out. There it is, confirmation. Will that trigger a safety car? I've just managed to break Seb's DRS, so if he can fall into a battle with the cars behind, that would take the pressure off us. Purple sector 3 from us, by the way. Worth noting. But so far, this is looking pretty decent. If I can keep Seb out of DRS, this would be perfect for us. Although I'm not super confident in that, but still, we'll keep trying while the tyres are fresh. If I had a full charge of battery, I'd be able to hold on to this, but I'm going to run out of charge. I can't maintain this level of battery use and stay ahead. However, I'd say the difficulty's about perfect because we're a touch slower than Seb and about the same as Albon's pace. And you know, those are the two teams that are above us in the vehicle performance chart. So we're actually competing against those teams that are near us, which is, you know, what it should be. But yeah, at the minute we're just about doing enough to keep Seb out of range. I'm trying to use minimal battery and try to save it all for the straights. All we need is Albon to just put an attack on Seb and just battle a little bit, and that would really, really help. Okay, Sebastian Vettel now has DRS. I don't have an answer. I'll push as hard as I could. I've got no battery, so this is it. Let's see if we can stay ahead and score a point in this race. 7 laps to go. Now we're under massive pressure here. No getting away from it. This is going to be tough. We might have to just let Sebastian go and then do what we was doing before and just follow him basically. Might be a better solution rather than try to stay ahead when I don't have the straight line speed or the pace without battery. So we'll just slot him behind Seb. I know Albon isn't much of a threat because I managed to hold on before. So let's try and see if we can follow the 4-time world champion and just slot in between these two and try to go for that point later on. I'm going to try and see if I can recharge a little bit. Oh, Fernando Alonso in the pits, so possible damage. And an extra pit stop required for Fernando. That will give us another place and move us into the points. This time definite points. Now we're battling for P9 versus Seb. I'm trying to recharge, but I just can't recharge. I'm too slow. I need to use battery to stay competitive. Unfortunate, but that's the reality. We're still not there yet. We're not that competitive where I can recharge behind someone and follow in their DRS. First warning for track limits. Just had a bit of oversteer on the exit there, had to correct it, and that forced me off the track. I'm hanging in okay here. I'm not too confident in being able to re-overtake. I can't quite get that close to Sebastian Vettel anymore, but we're in the points and that's all I want. So
That's us with 5 laps of fuel remaining, 5 laps of fuel left.
cheers, Elvis. But yeah, we're in the points already, so I mean, I'd take this right now, but it's not ideal that we're giving up an extra point to our direct rivals Aston Martin, who have gained quite a few points lately. So if I can finish ahead of Seb, that would be ideal, but I am on the limit. Personal best on that lap. Pushing flat out. I'm completely out of battery now. I'm just trying my best. The tyre wear is kicking in and I'm starting to struggle. You can see there I lost 2/10 out of turn 1 alone. I'm completely dry in terms of battery here. I'm just about hanging on to Sebastian Vettel, but I'm starting to lose the tyres, just like in the first stint, and that was really starting to hurt me. Yep, not really care, Jeff. Albon closing in here. We might be under pressure. Nope, we're just about okay. We need a good second sector here to pull this back. Oh, this is really tense. Seb's really pushing now. I cannot lose DRS. I think I might though. I don't have the battery to fight here. I'm out. This is it. Oh boy, this could be a long final 2 laps. Do I dare take the risk and let Albon go and then try to get him back next lap? I don't think so. I ain't got any battery though to fight this. This is not going to be easy. Albon's going to steam past. Oh no, he just almost drives into the back of us. I was moving over, but I mean, Albon had plenty of space to just drive past. So we stay ahead for now. That could be key. If Ocon can do us a solid and try to go for a move on him, that would be ideal. On to the last lap. Turn 1 needs to be perfect. It wasn't that great. Lock up on entry. Albon's very close. I don't really have anything here. We get floor damage. That is far from ideal. Albon's going to get by. I don't have an answer to this, unfortunately. Ocon, oh my god, look at the closing speed. On the last lap, it's going to get away from us. Not sure how floor damage works in this game, but I can't believe it. Yeah, I've got issues. The car feels horrible. Vettel and Albon, Aston Martin and Williams are going to score points. Sainz now is going to be on our rear. This isn't good. Damn it, I'm so annoyed. We got so close this race. Could have been so much easier had we not had the slow pit stop. I would have been clear. Sainz has got so much more grip. The floodgates have opened. That little 3-way block of us, Sebastian Vettel and Albon, was the key, because we're all similar pace, so we're just doing a DRS effect. But now the faster cars are coming through. No battery left, no answer. Maybe we can try to reach out into the bus stop. We'll close the door and knock on there, but still P12. It's a much better performance, but we just miss out on the point.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
another fantastic victory for the Silver Arrows. Well, Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today, but what set them apart from the rest?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take the top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes.
And there we have it. Results are in. So close, yet so far. That's frustrating, man. We're just close. We're getting close to getting there. And I feel like some might say 106 was too easy, but I think it's hard to compare because obviously Jack Aitken got damaged and was out of contention from the beginning. And also worth noting that I think it was pretty spot on because, again, we were battling Sebastian Vettel and Alex Albon, and we were a touch slower than the Aston Martin, which is about fair if you look at the vehicle performance comparison. So I think we got it right. I think we got it wrong in qualifying. Either way, there is your final results. Hamilton, though, wins again, and this is a big one. Hamilton is a championship contender. The 8th title is on the table. Leclerc second. Norris finishes third, which is insane. Perez P4 ahead of Schumacher in a brilliant P5. Ricciardo finishes P6 in the end. Frustrating. We were ahead of him up until the pit stops, which that was the key turning point in this race. The slow stop that kind of dropped us into the pack of cars, and that really hurt our race. Verstappen P7 ahead of Bottas, Vettel and Albon scoring the final point. This is going to hurt Williams and Aston Martin scoring points. Sainz misses out on the top 10 along with myself, Gasly, Ocon, Latifi, Zhou, Tsunoda, Magnussen, Alonso, and then Aitken, Russell, Stroll out the race. Standings still 14th, but we have Seb now on 9 points and Albon on 7, Gasly on 7. The guys behind are starting to rack up some points as the pressure builds. In the constructors though, Aston Martin, AlphaTauri, Williams all score points. Aston Martin on 10, AlphaTauri on 10, Williams on 7. We need a response. We need to get a point. We're getting very close to a disaster, so we need to respond. Either way, guys, that is it for the race. Let's move into upgrades. Now back in the office, and we have an aero department event. Before we jump into that, let's quickly lock in activities. We'll go for reaction training for Jack Aitken before the Dutch Grand Prix at Zandvoort. So let's have a look and see what this is. Free up their calendar or keep current schedule. The team have requested Aitken's presence at a recurring meeting, but it conflicts with a couple of other items on their calendar. We know there are a lot of demands on their time, but it's vital that we have their input to aid our design. We should consider freeing up their schedule a little. So if we agree, then the aero department will go up 20% in morale, but Aitken's experience will be affected, or the opposite. Bit of a tricky one, to be fair. I think we're going to agree and improve the morale of the aero side, because we're doing reaction training for Jack, so that will keep his experience somewhat okay. Now in terms of other business, we have 2.89 million, which means we can now afford fabrication level 1 on the power unit side of things. So we're going to go ahead and get that on because we need to do engine upgrades. That brings us down to $400,000 as we now move over to upgrades. We have 2 chassis, 1 aero on the way. You can see that's quite a big improvement for us if they will arrive. We're going to add to that though. And you can see we've got the side pod profile which arrived, and that has unlocked the wing mirrors for drag reduction. We also have the DRS activation mechanism and the tertiary wing flap. So quite a few options. I'm going to go for wing mirrors purely because we need to reduce drag. So we'll get those on ASAP. Do we have any super cheap discounted durability upgrades maybe? No, we don't. All quite expensive. Fair enough. We do want to try and go for those control electronics and energy store at some point. Engine wise, you can see we can't do anything in a minute until we get the fabrication level 1 arrive, so that's very important that we get that. on the chassis, we're working on big upgrades. So it's all systems go at the minute, and if everything arrives, it should take us above Williams, AlphaTauri, and possibly up to Aston Martin. So we'll see how that goes. Either way, guys, that's it for this episode. Hopefully you enjoyed. Leave a like and subscribe for more. As always, I appreciate the support, guys. You're absolute legends. It's been a tough season, but those of you still watching, hanging in there, I greatly appreciate it. But yeah, like, subscribe as always. A big shout out to the members for supporting the content. Finally, check out the 2 videos on screen if you haven't seen it. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, take care, and this is bye from me.